That's huge.
There's been an actual emergency. Listening to the emergency alert system serving.
The following message is transmitted at the request of the Wayne County Emergency Management Agency. As of 6 a.m. this morning, an unknown and hazardous event has begun rapidly spreading across the city of Detroit. A widespread bloom of an unknown type of flower has spread across most metropolitan areas in the city of Detroit. These flowers have also appeared on roadways, streets, and the floors of buildings. There have also been some reports of these flowers causing damage to streets, apartment complexes, and skyscrapers due to uprooting. It is unknown at this time how this event occurred, or why these flowers appear to have stronger roots than typical flowers. At this time, emergency management recommends that you stay inside your home until further updates can be given. If you are in an apartment, you are advised to leave it as quickly as possible for your safety due to the threat of structural collapse. Please do not attempt to drive at the moment, as these flowers could potentially cause unsafe driving conditions throughout Wayne County. Shelter in place until further notice. If no shelter is available, remain outdoors and stay away from tall buildings or structures. If possible, attempt to stay away from the flowers until more research can be conducted on them. Remain tuned to local TV and radio stations for updates.
This is Liam Stormwell with WXYZ-TV, continuing with our special coverage of the ongoing flower anomaly in Detroit. As of now, over 20 residential apartment buildings have been evacuated due to concerns of structural collapse, leaving thousands of citizens stranded in the streets. Emergency management has had an extremely difficult time managing the situation. Uprooted concrete has made travel in and out of the city of Detroit extremely dangerous. All public transportation throughout Wayne County has been suspended until further notice. In addition, these flowers have also been present on airport runways, causing dangerous conditions for air traffic control and pilots who are departing and landing flights. All flights in and out of Detroit have been delayed, rerouted, or outright canceled. There is no plausible explanation at the moment for why this event occurred, and its unpredictability is extremely concerning for emergency management. There have been no reports of this anomaly spreading further outside of Detroit. However, emergency management asks everyone in Wayne County to shelter in place until further notice, should circumstances change. That is all the information we have available at this time. We advise our viewers to remain tuned to WXYZ-TV for the latest coverage on this developing situation. My name is Liam Stormwell, WXYZ-TV.
following message is transmitted at the request of the Wayne County Emergency Management. A mandatory shelter-in-place order is now being instituted until further notice. This is due to the flowers anomaly beginning to breach the city of Detroit, and has rapidly spread across Wayne County within the last hour. Severe damages have been reported to streets, homes, businesses, and residential apartment complexes due to this event. Emergency management will now be putting its full focus on this event to try to figure out a cause or how to stop or slow down this effect. Therefore, as to not interfere with investigations, and to stop casualties, all citizens in Wayne County will be required to shelter in place until further notice. If you are caught outside without valid reason, you will be detained for questioning and possibly put under arrest. The only exception is if you cannot remain indoors due to the threat of structural collapse in your home or residential complex. If you do have to remain outside, then you should remain away from emergency management as to not interfere with their investigations. And if possible, remain away from these flowers until further research can be done on them to ensure they are safe to be around. To repeat, a mandatory shelter-in-place order has been instituted until further notice. If you cannot remain indoors, do not interfere with emergency management and remain away from the flowers as much as possible. Please remain tuned to local media for updates. We now return you to regular programming.
transmitted at the request of the Michigan State Emergency Management and the United States Department of Agriculture. All citizens receiving this broadcast are advised to leave the state of Michigan as soon as possible. The rapid bloom of flowers has spread outside the city of Detroit and is causing major problems across the entire state. Unsafe driving conditions are being reported, with partial collapses of highways and roads occurring across the state, as well as building collapses due to structural failure. Flower uprooting has also caused power lines to fall, resulting in power outages and electrical hazards in certain areas. Air traffic control has also been experiencing major difficulties, causing commercial and military flights in and out of the state to become extremely dangerous and nearly impossible. As such, all residents who are capable of evacuating are advised to do so immediately. Do not attempt to evacuate if your area is overrun by the bloom of flowers. Doing so will put you in extreme danger, as driving on collapsed or damaged highways and bridges will result in certain death. The following interstates should be avoided, as danger of collapse or partial collapse has occurred: Interstate 275, Interstate 75, and Interstate 94, and the following U.S. highways: U.S. Highway 123, U.S. Highway 223, U.S. Highway 23, U.S. Highway 24, and U.S. Highway 12. If you are unable to evacuate, remain where you are until further notice and shelter in place unless your shelter's structural integrity is compromised. To repeat, an evacuation of the state of Michigan is ongoing. Those who can safely do so, evacuate the state immediately. Those who cannot evacuate should remain where they are until further notice is given.
Following is a bulletin from the Overseer Council, designated for Level 2 personnel and above. This bulletin has been issued due to an ongoing event which requires our immediate attention. At around 0600 hours yesterday, a rapid bloom of flowers appeared in the United States, specifically in the city of Detroit. These flowers caused massive damage to the state of Michigan due to their ability to uproot structures. This uprooting was caused by these flowers at normal strong roots. At 0500 this morning, the entire state of Michigan was put under evacuation due to the sheer amount of damage being caused. Our scientists have been monitoring the situation and have determined that it bears a very close resemblance to the K-class scenario. Lilith's proposal. Such an event would result in the end of all life on Earth. However, scientists are reluctant to pinpoint IT as the cause just yet. This is due to the fact that what is occurring does not appear to exactly follow what would occur during the K-class scenario. More research will be done in the coming hours until a definitive answer, if then, can be given. Please remain on high alert for further bulletins.
This could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Nobody said this was going to be easy.
Now, see, if Geico.com had taken that approach instead of telling everyone it's so easy a caveman can do it, I wouldn't be having an existential meltdown right now.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car.
Please stand by. Station EAX will be on air shortly.
Civil danger warning for the Midwestern United States. Region-wide emergency in effect. The following message is transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. This message concerns the ongoing crisis with the flower anomaly, which originated in the city of Detroit just yesterday. As of 5 a.m. this morning, a mandatory evacuation of the state of Michigan was initiated. This was done in an attempt to slow down the mass casualties caused by this event. As of a few hours ago, multiple reports have come in that these flowers have spread beyond the state of Michigan and into other states. These states include, but are not limited to, the states of Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. These flowers have caused significant damage and casualties to all respective areas despite various attempts by the United States Department of Agriculture and the Federal Emergency Management Agency to destroy these flowers via burning. None of these attempts were successful. It appears that these flowers have high durability and are able to withstand extreme temperatures. With these circumstances at hand, it is currently unknown how to reverse or slow down this event, but continuous attempts are being made at this time. The course of action for anyone hearing this message would be to shelter in place until further notice is given. If you receive a report that the flowers have spread to your area, you should evacuate your area immediately. These flowers can be identified by their bright, vibrant colors and the ability to uproot any material. If you cannot evacuate due to safety risks, shelter in place and stay away from the flowers at all costs. Do not drive on damaged roads. Doing so will put your life in extreme danger. During situations like this, please do not panic. Panicking will only worsen the situation. This has been a region-wide activation of the emergency alert system. Further messages will be issued in the coming hours. Monitor local media for future updates on this event.
The Canadian Emergency Warning System has been activated. The CEWS system has been activated for the National Information Event. The National Information Event means that the Canadian government or Prime Minister has requested to air a message over all television stations. Stand by for a message from a government official or the Prime Minister. Do not use your telephone unless you have an emergency. This message has been approved for release by the Canadian government. The Prime Minister and all government officials are unable to speak at this time. Therefore, a pre-recorded message will be played via speech synthesis. This message is being issued in response to the rapid onset and spread of flowers from the United States into Canada, which has already caused extensive damage across the provinces of Manitoba, Ontario, and Quebec, as well as several reported deaths due to collapsed houses and apartment buildings. Due to the rapid speed of this crisis, emergency measures have been authorized. All residents living in provinces marked red are ordered to evacuate immediately. Those in yellow provinces are under a watch and must be prepared to evacuate at a moment's notice, and those in green provinces or territories should shelter in place until further notice. At this time, there is no known way to stop or destroy these flowers. Agricultural agencies in Canada and the United States have noted that they possess anomalous properties allowing them to withstand uprooting and pruning. Additionally, prolonged exposure causes individuals to enter a relaxed, euphoric state that leaves them unaware of their surroundings, which has already resulted in deaths due to a lack of awareness of immediate danger. There is currently no known way to reverse these effects, and further side effects remain unknown, so citizens are strictly advised to stay away from the flowers. Emergency updates will continue hourly via television and radio stations, and if the situation worsens or the Prime Minister addresses the nation, you will be notified via the Canadian Emergency Warning System. This has been the national activation of the Canadian Emergency Warning System. Normal programming may now resume, but will be interrupted for future updates. Stay tuned.
We interrupt regular programming to bring you a message from Her Majesty's Government. Please stand by and await further information. We interrupt regular programming to bring you a message from Her Majesty's Government. Please stand by and await further information. Normal programming has been suspended by Her Majesty's Government. This is a message from the Home Office. The current threat level is emergency, meaning a state of emergency has been declared for the United Kingdom. The phenomenon concerning the bloom of flowers that first appeared in the United States has now spread to Europe and has begun in the United Kingdom. This flower phenomenon, nicknamed Nature's Revenge, causes flowers to rapidly appear across land areas in the country in which it is present. This phenomenon has been causing major damage to the United States and Canada, and has now begun to rapidly spread across the continents of Europe, South America, and Australia. There is no known way to stop or slow down this phenomenon, but attempts are being made at this time. All citizens of the United Kingdom are advised to remain indoors and await further instructions. Do not attempt to burn or uproot the flowers, as reports have come in that the flowers appear to be resistant to such attempts. You should remain indoors and avoid going outside as much as possible until further research can be done regarding these flowers, and whether or not there are harmful side effects. If the flowers are present in your area, remain indoors and do not approach them unless your place of residence is threatened by structural collapse. Evacuation is not recommended, as it would only put you and the lives of others in danger. Do not attempt to evacuate unless ordered to do so by your local police department. The Queen and the royal family are currently safe and are unable to speak at this time. Remain tuned to local media and television outlets for the latest updates.
Esta mensaje está sendo emitida por orden da República Federativa do Brasil. Foi declarado estado de emergência nos estados Domingo, Rio de Janeiro, Minas Gerais, São Paulo, Espírito Santo e Bahia. Esta emergência foi declarada devido ao evento anómalo de flores, que surgiu nos Estados Unidos há cerca de 2 dias, conhecido como a vingança da natureza. Essa anomalia fez com que flores brilhantes e vibrantes aparecessem e se espalhassem rapidamente pelas áreas onde estão presentes. Embora isso possa não parecer perigoso à grave primeira vista, essas flores possuem uma propriedade inexplicável. Suas raízes são extremamente resistentes, o que lhes permite arrancar e deslocar qualquer material onde estejam presentes. Além disso, esas flores se espalan y crecen en mano a una velocidad extremadamente alta, surgiendo en mano locais onde isso sería imposible en mano circunstancias normais. Todos esos factores combinados hacen con que esa anomalia cause daños devastadores a los países donde está presente. Relatos de esa anomalia já foram registrados en mano todos os países da América do Norte, en mano casi todos os países da Europa, e também foram recebidos relatos isolados na África e na Asia. Até o momento, não há registros dessa anomalia na Austrália ou na Antártida. No momento, o Brasil é con acento o único país da América do Sul a registrar essa anomalia, con ocurrencias nos estados Domingo, Rio de Janeiro, Minas Gerais, São Paulo, Espírito Santo e Bahia. Neste momento, há muito pouco que possa ser feito para deter ou retardar essa anomalia. Recomenda-se que os cidadãos evacuem suas áreas assim que identificarem essas flores, sempre que possível. Essas flores arrancam tudo o que encontram pelo caminho, criando condições extremamente perigosas para qualquer pessoa. Caso você não consiga evacuar sua região, permaneça ao ar livre e mantenha distância de prédios altos e outras estruturas, pois elas podem desabar a qualquer momento. Além disso, evite ao máximo qualquer contato com essas flores, pois relatos lindos da América do Norte e da Europa indicam que elas também exercem efeito psicológico sobre as pessoas, levando-as a estado de euforia irreversível. Esse efeito psicológico faz com que a pessoa acredite que o fim do mundo está chegando e que devemos contemplar as flores e aceitar nosso destino. Resalta-se que isso é con acento apenas uma ilusão psicológica, e não há qualquer evidência de que o fim do mundo esteja realmente se aproximando. Por favor, de prioridade a grave sintonia nas transmissões de rádio Domingo Governo para futuras atualizações, pois é con acento provável que os sinais de televisão não permaneçam disponíveis por muito tempo caso este evento cause os mesmos efeitos devastadores observados em mano ou outras regiões. Esta foi uma mensagem Domingo Governo da República Federativa do Brasil, transmitida pela televisão Globo. O modo de programação de emergência está em mano vigor. A programação normal foi suspensa para priorizar a transmissão de comunicados oficiais Domingo Governo.
Following messages transmitted at the request of the American Samoa Office of Disaster Assistance and Petroleum Management. All residents are under a shelter-in-place order until further notice. The flower phenomenon that appeared in the contiguous United States has now appeared on other continents, and is present in overseas territories, which include, but are not limited to, Guam, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, the Mariana Islands, and American Samoa. These flowers are unnatural in nature, and should be avoided at all costs. These flowers are nearly impossible to uproot and appear to be extremely difficult to destroy via burning. In addition, these extremely durable roots are capable of causing severe damage to buildings and structures, causing devastation. In the areas where the flowers are present, there is no answer as to where these flowers came from, and it is unknown how to stop them. As such, you are advised to remain indoors, if possible, until further notice. Do not attempt to drive, as it is considered extremely unsafe to do so. Emergency services will be extremely delayed due to road conditions. Do not call 911 unless you are having life-threatening emergency. Stay inside and stay safe. There is not much else that can be done to alleviate the effects of these flowers. U.S. officials have no explanation for this phenomenon. Remain tuned to local news and local radio for further details and updates. This has been an activation of the American Samoa Emergency Alert System.
Welcome to the 10 p.m. news on RNN, your source for the biggest happenings across the Midwest. We begin tonight with our biggest developing situation, the ongoing crisis concerning the rapid and spontaneous blooming of flowers, which had begun to spread outward from Michigan. In a historic move earlier today, at around 5 a.m. Central Time, the entire state of Michigan was put under an evacuation order due to the sheer amount of damage being caused by the flower situation, now nicknamed Nature's Revenge on online forums. This phenomenon has now nearly overtaken Michigan, accounting for several deaths and billions of dollars in damages caused by collapsing buildings, homes, highways, and dangerous street conditions. As of 8 p.m. today, reports of the Nature's Revenge phenomenon have now emerged in other states. But emergency management believes that this may change in the coming hours or days. The United States Department of Agriculture has no explanation for this bizarre phenomenon, and Washington declined to comment on the current situation. When we reached out to the Department of Agriculture, we received the following statement. The United States Department of Agriculture is at a loss for words to explain what is going on, as an event of this magnitude is simply implorable. Further examination of these flowers shows that they are not special in any sort of way, nor do they appear to be linked to any aggressive species. In even more bizarre developments, emergency management has reported that persons exposed to flowers for prolonged periods of time enter a relaxed state, neglecting the destruction in their area and simply enjoying the moment. Emergency management and the Department of Agriculture are advising residents to remain indoors or away from these flowers, if present in their area, as more research is conducted before a definitive answer can be given as to what is happening, what caused it, and what can be done.
life-threatening situation. The Hoover Dam is expected to suffer a complete collapse within the next 45 minutes. The following message is being broadcasted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. The flower crisis which originated from Michigan has now spread across of the contiguous United States, and has now reached the West. These flowers are known for having anomalous properties, one such being the ability to have its seeds resist any attempt to uproot it. These flowers have reached the state of Nevada, and have caused irreparable damage to the Hoover Dam. A collapse is certain in less than an hour. This is a mass casualty situation. Prepare for damage and flooding never before seen. Those within a 300-mile radius downstream must evacuate immediately. Failure to obey will result in certain death. Expect a cascade of dam failures downstream due to the sheer amount of water. Higher ground will not save you. You must evacuate immediately if you reside in a 300-mile radius. Contratwell has now been enacted. Speed limits have been increased to give the best chance of survival to those who are evacuating. Do not attempt to bring anything extra. Leave now. That should be considered lost. You do not have much time, but if you are not within a 300-mile radius, seek higher ground now. Prepare for extreme flash flooding. Prepare for water shortages and power outages. Do not call 911 unless you have a life-threatening emergency. To repeat, the Hoover Dam will suffer a total failure in the next 45 minutes. Those in a 300 miles radius must evacuate immediately. Those who are not evacuating should prepare for flash flooding, power outages and water shortages. This broadcast will retransmit in 2 minutes.
Flash flood emergency for portions of central and southern California.
The National Weather Service in San Diego has issued a flash flood warning for Mono County in Central California, Inyo County in Central California, Fresno County in Central California, Madero County in Central California, Tula County in Central California, Kings County in Central California, Kern County in Southern California, San Bernardino County in Southern California, Riverside County in Southern California, Imperial County in Southern California, Los Angeles County in Southern California, San Diego County in Southern California, Orange County in Southern California, until 5 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. At 12:08 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, dam operators at the Hoover Dam reported catastrophic structural damage done to the Hoover Dam due to the ongoing flower crisis. Water maintained in the dam have been released. Massive surges of water are now flowing downstream more rivers, with cascades of dam failures also being reported downstream. This is a flash flood emergency for portions of Central and Southern California. This is a particularly dangerous situation. Seek higher ground now. Hazard, life-threatening flash flooding, caused by dam failures. Source, emergency management reported. Impact, you are in a life-threatening situation. Seek higher ground now. Ensure that your building will retain structural integrity when flash flooding occurs. Locations that will experience flash flood include, but are not limited to, Bridgeport, Bakersfield, Bishop, Chula Vista, Clovis, Delano, Fontana, Glendale, Hanford, Huntington Beach, Irvine, Lemmer, Los Angeles, Madera, Oakhurst, Ontario, Riedley, San Diego, Temecula. Seek higher ground now. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. If you cannot seek higher ground, or if you are unsure that your building will retain structural integrity, you should evacuate your current area immediately. If evacuating, ensure you follow proper procedures to avoid drowning. Turn around. Don't drown when encountering flooded roads. Most flood deaths occur in vehicles.
Messages transmitted at the request of the Federal Emergency Management Agency. All residents in the West-South Central Census Region is being ordered to evacuate immediately. These states include Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. Due to the ongoing flower crisis, mass dam failures, power outages, water main breaks, and extreme flash flooding has taken place across these states. Thousands of deaths have been reported in their respective states due to these factors. Emergency management is not equipped to deal with the sheer amount of damage and deaths being caused due to this event. Additionally, a large amount of emergency management workers and citizens are falling victim to this psychological phenomenon. It is unknown if this has side effects, and you should avoid these flowers as much as possible. Therefore, all residents receiving this message are urged to leave as soon as possible. When you evacuate, take essential supplies such as food, water, clothing, medical supplies, and important documentation such as your ID. Do not attempt to flee to the upper central or the Midwestern United States. Move towards the East, South Central, or South Atlantic Census regions. To repeat, evacuation of the West-South Central Census Region is ongoing. These states are the states of Arkansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Texas. Leave now to protect your life.
The nature's revenge phenomenon has accounted for over 231 million deaths worldwide due to various factors. With 350,000 of those deaths being in the United States and in the territories. Hundreds of trillions of dollars in damages have been caused nationwide, with states affected being ravaged by water main breaks resulting in flooding, power outages, collapsed buildings, roads and trees. Additionally, the concerning psychological phenomenon these flowers cause only continue to grow, with an estimated 10 million affected at the moment. While finding a solution to this crisis is vital, our main concern is the environmental impact these flowers will cause. While they may clear the skies now, it is impossible for them to sustain themselves in the future, likely result in a sharp increase of temperature on top of summer approaching. With this in mind, normal life will not return for an indefinite period, and this situation has far exceeded the grounds for a national level emergency. We have reached out to Washington, and they claim that a message will be delivered to the American people this evening.
The ongoing nature's revenge phenomenon has now overtaken every continent, including Antarctica, and has now overtaken an approximate of 60% of the Earth's land surface. The phenomenon has now been reported in nearly every state in the contiguous United States, and has been reported in Alaska, Hawaii, and all U.S. territories. The United Nations and various agricultural agencies around the world still have no explanation for this bizarre phenomenon, and it's believed that this event likely will not be stopped or slowed down and may cover all surface land on every continent. The key to solving this bizarre puzzle only comes more crooked when further research shows that persons exposed to the flower enter a peaceful and relaxed state, with some people claiming that an end-of-the-world event will occur soon and still being at peace with it despite the implications. This becomes even more bizarre when you consider the fact that these flowers have been proven to be no different than a flower you'd see in your nearest park, besides the fact that they were resistant to burning or uprooting attempts. As of now, around half of the states are under a shelter-in-place order by their respective government, and multiple states are under evacuation orders due to various disasters being caused by uprooting. The true extent of the damage is yet to be calculated, but it is estimated to be in the trillions in the United States alone. Casualties caused by this event are in the hundreds of thousands, with the states experiencing the worst consequences of this event being Nevada, Arizona, and California. The breach of the Hoover Dam sent trillions of liters of water downstream, causing mass casualties, extreme flooding, power outages, and continuous dam failure downstream, causing devastation to the states of Nevada, Arizona, and California. And we have just received reports from the White House that President Roy Simmons will be addressing the nation shortly and has officially declared a national emergency due to the nature's revenge phenomenon. Due to the president being escorted to an undisclosed location, the White House says that he will not make a public appearance, but will instead be addressing the nation over the emergency alert system momentarily. We advise all watching at this time to begin tuning to news outlets that will serve their local area during this national emergency.
This is an emergency action notification requested by the White House. All EAS participants will follow activation procedures in the EAS Operating Handbook for a national level emergency. The President of the United States or his representative will shortly deliver a message over the emergency alert system.
This is an emergency action notification. All broadcast stations and cable systems shall transmit this emergency action notification message. This cable system has interrupted its regular programming at the request of the White House to participate in the emergency alert system. During this emergency, most cable systems will remain on the air providing news and information to the public in assigned areas. This is Co-Flax Communications. We will continue to serve the Miami-Dade area. If you are not in this local area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your local area. You are listening to the emergency alert system serving the Miami-Dade area. Do not use your telephone. The telephone line should be kept open for emergency use. The emergency alert system has been activated to keep you informed. We interrupt our programming at the request of the White House. This is the emergency alert system. All normal programming has been discontinued during this emergency. This is Co-Flax Communications. This cable system will continue furnishing news, official information, and instructions for the Miami-Dade area. If you are not in the Miami-Dade area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your area. It is important that you listen carefully to announcements from the station or cable system in your local area. We interrupt our programming at the request of the White House. This is the emergency alert system. All normal programming has been discontinued during this emergency. This is Co-Flax Communications. This cable system will continue furnishing news, official information, and instructions for the Miami-Dade area. If you are not in the Miami-Dade area, you should tune to stations providing news and information for your area. It is important that you listen carefully to announcements from the station or cable system in your local area.
The emergency alert system has been activated for a national activation at the request of myself, the United States government, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the United States Department of Agriculture. This message is to be aired across every national, state, and local television and radio stations across the United States and its territories. One message concerns the safety of every United States citizen. Around 2 days ago, a bizarre phenomenon began to appear in Wayne County, Michigan, specifically in the city of Detroit, where, regardless of ground conditions, flowers will spring up and bloom rapidly. Though this may seem harmless at first glance, this anomaly has caused several problems across the United States and the countries in which it is present. First, these flowers uproot in material, regardless of its sturdiness, whether it be bricks or concrete. This causes structural weakness in most elevated structures, such as metro systems, highways, apartment buildings, and skyscrapers. In some cases, entire collapses of these structures have been reported. The worst case of this was with the breach of the river dam 2 hours ago. This has caused trillions of liters of water to flow out of the dam, causing complete devastation and flooding in the states of Nevada, Arizona, and California. In terms of damage on a national level, power line failures and water main breaks have been reported in most states. As of current, Federal Emergency Management Agency expects the death toll to be around 350,000, with the damage cost to be estimated in the high trillions. On top of all of this, these fires induce an unknown psychological change in persons exposed to them for extended periods of time. From what we have gathered, this psychological change causes a person to become abnormally relaxed and calm. They become blissfully unaware of the destruction around them and simply live in the moment, in some cases leading to their demise. This psychological change also causes persons to believe that these flowers are a sign of an end of the world event, and that all life will cease 24 hours after the flowers finish their bloom. There is no known way to reverse the psychological change. From 2 days ago until now, these flowers have covered approximately 60% of the Earth's surface and have been reported on every continent except Antarctica. The speed of the bloom increasing at exponential rate is estimated. If this continues, 100% of the Earth's surface will be covered within the next 12 to 16 hours. Despite tireless research being conducted day and night to determine where this event came from, what caused it, and what can be done to stop it, no semblance of an explanation can be given at this time. But bluntly, we have no idea how or why this is happening. Nothing has predicted this event, and this probability has puzzled government agencies around the world. In order to protect the people to the best of our ability, I've officially ordered a mandatory stay-at-home order or shelter-in-place order indefinitely until a solution to handle the situation is found. If the solution is unable to be found, the United States government and the Federal Emergency Management Agency will be forced to switch its focus in post-disaster assistance, preparing residents for the upcoming environmental impacts. Therefore, for the time being, all American citizens, regardless of whether they reside in a state or territory, are required to stay indoors until further notice if they can safely do so. If your home or shelter is threatened by collapse, you're advised to minimize contact with these flags as much as possible. Contriving the psychological change will cause you to become blissfully unaware of your surroundings and put your life in greater harm. Please remain diligent and stay tuned for local media for continuous coverage of this event. This concludes my presidential message.
The emergency alert system has been activated nationwide for a National Information Center statement. The following message has been authorized for release by the President. The President is unable to speak at this time, and he and his presidential cabinet have been escorted to a safe, undisclosed location. This is a message from the Federal Emergency Management Agency. As of 12 a.m. Universal Coordinated Time, the mass flowering phenomenon, which first appeared in the city of Detroit, has come to a sudden halt.
From current estimates, the flowers now cover approximately 90% of the Earth's land surface and have been reported on every continent and in every country, excluding the continent of Antarctica. There is no explanation that can be given at this time as to why this event suddenly halted at 90%. Due to the low probability of an answer being found, the Federal Emergency Management Agency has decided to move forward in order to brace citizens for the current and future effects of this event. Due to the sheer number of flowers, there is no way for them all to be sustainable. In the coming days to weeks, expect a vast majority of these flowers to die and rot due to being unable to sustain themselves in the environments in which they are present. Due to the flowers currently absorbing CO2 and cooling temperatures worldwide, expect a large spike in CO2 and a rapid rise in temperature when these flowers rot. This will likely result in climate instability and a depletion of oxygen to an unknown extent. Residents of Alaska and residents who live in regions with low biodiversity will be the first to experience these rapid changes. Citizens should also prepare for severe storms due to increased humidity and moisture in the atmosphere, consequently caused by a large spike in transpiration. In addition, food and water shortages will occur worldwide due to a complete agricultural collapse from rotting flowers.
chaos throughout the world stems tonight after an apparent signal hijacking during a national broadcast. But this isn't an ordinary hijacking. The entire world has seen this broadcast. Around a few hours ago, nearly every television station across the globe was hijacked by an organization claiming to be the SCP Foundation. The message from the supposed SCP Foundation claimed that the flowers are indeed a sign of the end of the world, which aligns with the claims from people under the psychological phenomenon. Additionally, the SCP Foundation's explanation for this event is that this is to be classified as an event called SCP-001 Lily's Proposal. This group designates this event as an XK class scenario and confirms that, in their own words, that the world is going to end approximately 24 hours after this broadcast. They also state that there is nothing that can be done to prevent this end-of-the-world event from occurring. In its closing statement, the message gave closure to citizens in stating that the flowers are completely harmless and that the psychological change in persons exposed to the flower is completely fine and is an intended side effect of this event. At this time, there is no proof that this supposed SCP has any credibility, and it is unknown if this is linked in any way to the United States government or any other government. President Roy Simmons, nor any government official, has made any statement since this hijacking occurred. From what we can gather, there appears to be a large spike in people contracting this psychological change, and most people seem to be taking this broadcast at face value. These past 3 days have been completely bizarre, and this incident only adds the cherry on top. With the looming question on everyone's mind, who is this SCP Foundation, and how did they get a hold of nearly every television signal across the globe?
System has been activated. A message from the President of the United States will be relayed on all stations. Please stand by. Please stand by. The emergency alert system has been activated. A message from the President of the United States will be relayed on all stations. Please stand by.
My fellow Americans, but most importantly, my fellow humans and citizens of the world, I urge you to listen to the message I am about to give you. I stand before you this morning to finally give you an answer for what is going on. First off, it is time we address the elephant in the room. The SCP Foundation. Yes, the SCP Foundation is real. Foreseeing the global hijack that occurred, the SCP Foundation contacted every major world government to explain who they were and an explanation on why this is happening. From our own independent research, we have good reason to believe that the SCP Foundation is a legitimate organization. Under agreement with the SCP Foundation, we cannot give greater details of who works there or who runs it. What I can give you is that the SCP Foundation was entirely independently funded. From our research combined with what was disclosed to us, we can gather that the SCP Foundation works closely to monitor and contain anomalies, otherwise known as SCPs. The SCP Foundation did not have any ties to any political ideology or anything of the sort. It was not Republican or Democratic, nor did it have any affiliation with the sort of government, not even ours. The Foundation was simply an organization dedicated to protecting the people, no matter the cost. It lives in the dark so we could flourish in the light. On to the next thing I must address. For those wondering what's going on, research from the SCP Foundation, in conjunction with the United States government, has shown that this is what is classified XK class scenario. According to the SCP Foundation, this is the work of SCP-001, with the specific XK class scenario being Lily's Proposal. This event, as you may have guessed, is marked by the flowers blooming across 90% of viable land on the Earth's surface. Once this concludes, after 24 hours, all life on Earth will be wiped out. It is important to note that the flowers are not the cause of life being wiped out. Instead, they are simply a sign of what's to come in the next 24 hours. With the blooming ending around 6 a.m. Coordinated Universal Time, we have roughly 18 hours left until all life is to be wiped out. Initially, it has been determined from our research and from what we've been told by the SCP Foundation that flowers are completely harmless and harbor no deadly side effects. The SCP admittedly did not anticipate the sheer amount of damage that would be caused by these flowers, but nevertheless, the flowers themselves are not deadly, nor will they be the cause of what is to come. Now the final question arrives. We have an estimated 18 hours left, so what can be done now? That is simply a question with no definitive answer, America. But if I could give you a definitive answer, it would be simply this. Do what makes you happy. Embrace the sun, peaceful flowers, and the warm, comforting temperatures. Live your life to the fullest. There is nothing worse than dying with regrets. I wouldn't want anyone's final day on earth to be unfulfilled. Seek comfort with your loved ones or anything that comforts you. After this broadcast, most federal agencies and workers will be relieved of their duties. However, the federal government will continue to function as long as it possibly can. Before I sign off, I would like to leave you with this statement from the SCP Foundation, which reads as follows. It has been an honor to serve you, humanity. However, it appears that our story is coming to an end. Yet, despite the circumstances, we will continue to do what we've done best. Secure, contain, protect. This concludes my statement. And under my directive, the national emergency period has now officially been terminated. Normal programming operations may resume. Thank you. And God bless the United States of America.
This concludes all operations under the emergency alert system. Normal programming operations may now resume. As of 1300 hours, you are authorized to terminate the EAS. The emergency alert system has been activated.